Okay, we are live with the next edition of Enable Nexus Live. Thank you for joining us. We're having a internet challenging day. Somebody decided to cut John's internet line right before we went live. So the magic of satellite technology is bringing this to us now. Satellite or mobile, I don't know. You're in a hotspot, and somehow
combination of two.
Still decent resolution and can see and talk to you. So the future is awesome. How you doing, John?
Oh, lovely. How are you doing today?
Well, internet works, so can't complain.
It's a good start.
Let's see. So
I feel like we've gotten to a point in society where internet is almost a necessity, like as much as water and power.
Absolutely is. I also think that when the AI takes over, it's going to look a lot like what it did today. So, first the internet's going to go out, and then it's going to start doing weird things, and then it's going to say, "Go to work, meatbag." James is abroad, providing international relations for Naible overseas. So you're stuck with John and me today.
Yep.
So
what do you want to do?
I was thinking, John, you showed me something really cool the other day in chat. I've been writing a newsletter for a long time, and I do a couple of things to speed myself up with AI, but I think you've mastered a workflow that I'd really like to use this session for you to teach me how to do. So If you're like me and you want to have an audience of business users or friends or just random people from the internet that you want to keep in touch with, writing a newsletter is a great way to do it. But anybody who does it regularly will tell you it's hard. It's a slog to go every week to find interesting stuff, to put it into context, to write it in your voice, and then to ultimately, do that instead of just sort of signing off for the day. So what I was thinking I'd do with you, John, is maybe you could take me through how you have solved this with Nexus and make my life a little bit easier.
Sure.
And we'll use this as an opportunity to demonstrate and learn better ways to accelerate ourselves with AI, which is what we're all about.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different ways that you can do it and still end up with the same outcome. I think one of the fastest ways is just to start with working with your AI on an outline. So, going into Canvas, sort of working with your Pi directly on what you want within your newsletter. That can be done through the reasoning model or the regular version. Either way, really you're focused on getting to the core nuggets that you want to talk about in the talk track. And then once you've kind of established what that is, you can actually just pretty much ask it to turn that into a prompt. So you're going to want it to give the instructions of what the AI is going to do. And mainly that's just so when we move into the task automation, it'll break it down the way you want it.
Awesome. Okay, so I've got Jarvis here. I've set him up as an analytical expert because I think before this I was doing some analytics. Do I have the right Pi? Should I maybe switch personality?
There's a couple different ones that you could use. Personally, I like to use the Marketing Maestro for newsletters, mainly just because of the word usage and the way that it talks. You're still going to apply your reasoning, but remember, it's a combination of the marketing side and your style that really create the output. So that's where I personally go, but I could see anybody using anything from the analytical one to technical writer, even going into the meme lord for if they want to make something a little more entertaining.
Oh, that's actually sidebar. Meme lord is working way better than I thought it would. And as a personal meme lord, I'm just amazed at what it's able to do.
I've had a lot of fun with it.
So, should you subscribe and get enable, basic or pro? I don't know. Maybe you want the productivity, and maybe you want the automation, but I'm here for the memes.
It's almost like a meme. It's like instant meme lookup.
Yep.
The other thing that's pretty fun is kind of ideating and going back and forth with it, kind of talking. and occasionally it will actually answer you in GIFs. Like it will react to you and like give you attitude or joke with you, which always cracks me up.
I'm going to actually ask it a real question. What I also love about it is it's, it knows me, even the meme lord. So, I'm into natural language processing, product development, selling, dad jokes, and AI. Thank you for thinking that's a spicy combo. I think that's a little bit much, but yes. So, people laugh and learn, you win the inbox. I'm good with that. AI dad jokes weekly, sailing into product dev. Oh my gosh, pivot like a sailboat. That actually would be painful. The meme-driven CPO. AI for real people. AI, but with more dad energy. Hey, I like that actually.
Yep.
Let's do that. I don't know.
I think the other thing that's really fun that you're starting to hit on is audience, right?
Mhm.
So it's targeting you, right, because it understands you. But if you flip that on its head, the marketer is actually like designed to take what you do and target the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So you can very quickly take what you already have here and flop to the marketer and ask the same question, but tell it who you're targeting, and the transition's like kind of seamless.
Okay, so let's say I'm targeting. Let's do the AI for real people. Oh, it just got a lot more serious. All right. Let's see. What do you think of this answer, John? Can you see?
So we got
real people, not just techies. Pain points, overwhelm, jargon, fear of being replaced. Make AI relatable, useful, and non-intimidating. Show how AI solves everyday problems, not just sci-fi stuff. Demystify, practicality, empowerment, community, distribution and growth.
See, it's giving you like the full strategy for the newsletter. So that would you wouldn't want to put that into the task prompt, but it's a good foundation.
Okay. So maybe we start over here and we follow your process, but I'm just going to add this.
It's a good strategy to have though.
All right. So clear chat history. Here we go. How do I get this AI for real people newsletter cooking?
So for right now, I think where do we actually have the prompt? Did we make it to that step yet? I think we got distracted by the meme lord.
We definitely got distracted by the meme lord. So,
all right. So yeah,
prompt.
let's grab your talking points and what you want to focus on, because I think that's relevant context to add to the AI. So just highlight that on the left.
All right. So I want to talk about demystify practicality, this stuff here, I think.
Yep. Whatever your talking points are, I think it's good to have context there. And then on the right side, you can just say like, I'm creating a newsletter, right? These are the talking points, and whatever other sort of prompting you want, please lay out an outline. And either way, like by the end, we're really going to end up with like closer to a manuscript than we're going to end up with a full newsletter. You'll still have to expand on it and add some of your, writing into it, but it's pretty accelerated.
Oh, I forgot to put the prompt in. Let's see. Oh, it's just generated some more context. Now, if I just say, give me a prompt for this, right?
Yep.
Give me a prompt to generate this newsletter, or maybe generate an issue of this. Which is actually generate today's issue of this newsletter. Let's do it.
Yeah, when I'm doing this, I like to do a couple at a time. So I'll ask it to lay out like a strategy and align that to like marketing goals, and then like actually take that newsletter, and then once it has all the research, and be able to grab each one of those and then break those into separate canvases. It just saves a little bit of like, you can do all the sort of strategy and layout in one canvas and then break it out to actually do your writing.
Got it. Because you're going to come back to that strategy stuff again and again. If it's not just a demo, you're going to want to have that saved and look at it.
Yeah, and then the other side too, if you really lay out a robust strategy and you like it, you can move that into one of your smart projects and then just add that smart project to your AI each time to get the same output.
Nice. All right. So, write today's issue of my AI empowerment newsletter, tone, friendly, witty, audience, everyday people, structure, end with a witty sign off, call to action. Actually, wait, I wanted to make sure end with a meme. Please rewrite the prompt to include this critical step. And then I'm just going to move down here to figure this out. And I'm going to add this to my canvas here. So here's my newsletter generation prompt with meme. All right, write today's issue of my AI empowerment newsletter, tone, blah, 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 blah. And so we actually had a better name for it here, thanks to the meme lord. Oops, I might not save that.
I think you actually just copied over it.
I did. Oops. All right, well, we'll just call it, oh, here it is. Sorry, AI for real people.
Oh, there it is.
It didn't save the table, which is a bug report, folks. Welcome to Startup Life. Okay, for my AI for real people newsletter. Here we go. So here's my prompt. Now what do?
So you would take that into tasks and then just
Tasks.
drop it right into the prompt for tasks.
Another handy dandy tool right here. So I'm going to add a new task. I'm going to say AI for real people daily, weekly. It's pretty important to me. I'll make this do here. Here's the prompt. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit, right? Today's issue.
Yeah, and one of the key things with this is depending on your prompt, like it does actually make a difference if you say like, I would like this every week on Sunday at 7 a.m. It will create a mechanism to, actually go out and start this task over without you having to do anything else or schedule it. And it seems a little hidden. So if you end up creating a task and you want to make it something that is reoccurring, you just need to edit the prompt and add in like, do this every day or do this once a week.
All right. So just cleaned up the formatting a little bit and we'll let this thing run. Now, what's happening behind the scenes is that prompt is going into more AI. It's building out a chain of activities for different AI to do different things. It's going to figure out the best way to use the tools of Nexus to apply it to solve the task. And here we go. Research and summarize and approach able AI concepts for everyday people. Draft a full newsletter and funny, witty registration tone. Format it. Create a visual draft and send it via email. Right now, it's just going to send it to me via email. Won't actually email all your friends and family without permission. We'll add that next quarter.
Without permission?
Yeah, without permission. Permissionless, right? It's the new.
It'll just send it. It'll just find somebody and send it. No,
it's the opposite of zero trust.
Yeah. So the cool thing about this is like this version right now is building an agent. So each people have heard the term agentics, right? Or agents. Like each one of these is really a serverless agent that is like building its own context and understanding its own like role and being prompted to take action on that task. There is an updated version that we'll probably release soon that builds sub-agents of agents. So like little agent teams that go out and it's significantly more powerful.
And if you're curious what it's actually doing, provide some transparency here to each step. So the research assistant is going out and searching the internet for different referenceable things that we could use. AI assistant is putting it together into a summary, kind of like what we were working with Jarvis before. Formatter is going to make it look nice. Canvas creator is going to create a new canvas, and email sender is just going to tell me that it's ready. I'm not going to open my email right now because it's a disaster, but this is what was sent to me. There's a link to this. And so share this tab instead. And that doesn't look too good, John. What happened?
So you got the variables instead of the actual content. So go, let's look back in your task.
All right, we're back in the task. I think I know what happened actually.
Oh, really?
So the first step, it was fetching a relatable, approachable concept, and then it's still trying to build it as a concept versus the actual email.
So
I think
grab.
what we need to
Let's
do
see.
is just change
Look
this.
at task 2. Let's look at task 2 and see what happened. In your
In
view
task
results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the output
There you go.
was
So you're definitely getting content. There's your research, and then
Mhm.
there's your actual like more manuscript, or at least some of. Actually, it's getting there.
oh, actually, yeah, that looks fine. Maybe it was later on. Maybe it was formatter.
I think, yeah, one of them went the wrong direction.
Ooh. Newsletter template. Oh, look at that. It applied the newsletter template directly. It didn't actually format anything. That's unfortunate. So what it should have done, which is correct, is it removed the bottom part, but it looks like it applied the format a bit too literally. Let's see here.
It just applied the format.
The format. Let's get you out of here. A custom template.
Did you have the word custom in there?
Yeah.
Remove the word custom. Ask it to use like article, blog. I don't think there is there might or newsletter, but like if you say custom, it's going to try to create its own.
Into a using a. I think there is a newsletter template. Hang on.
I know there's definitely a blog and an article template.
Blog post. You're right. We'll use the blog post template using a blog post template. I'm going to get rid of the extra stuff. So, a little bit of a bug. Get that cleaned up. But ultimately, it's always going to be an iterative process. We're not.
You can also rerun it from the task.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I should have said that. I have now started to do that.
I was going to say, if you want to look at your other one that you ran, we can see how that one turned out. But pretty much, your drop down is the fastest way to rerun a task if it didn't execute the way you want it to. And inside the prompt, like Randy just did, you can edit any of those prompts. So including the original. So if you have like an outcome or you're not getting the details that you want, you can go back and, re-swizzle the prompt.
But there's so much work I have to do to set up this automation that will then forever run every week when I want it to and make my life so much easier.
Well, I think it's more entertaining if you want to. We're going through the steps and kind of showing everybody what it is, but if you want, you should do it from voice to text.
Ooh, that's fun. Let's see here. Oh, no, this formatter is not cooperating.
What was the output that you just showed? The previous one, that one looked good.
No, it looked great until it got to the formatter, and then the formatter.
Copy the output. Just grab that output.
That's true.
Because I'm curious.
So if we go and skip to the end here.
And what is the
actual canvas? Share this screen. Whoops. Put my screen share back on. And I'll replace that with what I copied. So this is the real beautiful part. We just have to get to the
Sent my boss a poem.
What do we got? Ever use ChatGPT to draft an email or Dolly to make a birthday card? What personality? You have marketing. Imagine you're a fair generative AI in a nutshell. Read more on Wikipedia. Oh. Witty sign off. That's all for this week. It's very witty.
Yeah, very witty.
I would grab the whole thing and apply your style.
Oh, good point.
And that's actually something we should have prompted inside of the task.
Yeah.
So instead of using the formatter, you apply your style because the formatting is already applied in your style.
Yep. So this is cool. This will update it, I think, to make it sound a little bit more like me. I think in my settings, too, I'll double check. I might have it in one of the weirder pies as the who's driving the automation.
Yeah, then you'll lose your, let's see. You're probably going to lose your formatting when you move it over. That is a bug that I feel like we've fought that one 3 or 4 times. And let's see.
Yuck.
So if you grab that whole thing and then apply the blog, or apply, or just actually what I do is I actually just use our reasoning agent and ask it to do formatting. I don't know why, but it's a little more dynamic.
That is much better. All right, let's add that to the editor. We're getting there.
I mean, depends
Also,
on if you want emojis.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the universal law of demos is it's never going to work exactly the way that I want, but I can get this and refine this, and to your point, probably start it over again with a different, better prompt that gets it closer to what I want.
Well, so like I kind of look at this as an iterative process to get to the prompt that you really want to use long term. So like where I would usually go from this is to get it where I have a good example of exactly what I want. So whether that's flushing it out, improving it, lengthening certain areas, and once I have that, like let's say this is your draft,
Show me what would we do if this was. Let's pretend like this is the final thing that I want.
Yeah, I would grab the whole thing, turn on reasoning, and then just say like create this as a prompt to create a newsletter in this format, in this design, covering similar topics. And then I would ask it usually to lay out 4 weeks. And the whole reason behind the 4 weeks is we're just going to interchange the 4 weeks.
Cool. And then with the reasoning mode on, we're going to think a lot longer, deeper, and harder to get the right answer. And watch it think.
The nice thing is, like, at least that I like, is when you're going through the reasoning and you get your output, if there's something you don't like, you have at least that exposure that you can directly address. Be like, oh, I didn't really want this. Now you have like all your formatting, you have your weeks, and in theory, you should be able to take those and move very quickly to generating your content.
Yeah, I might need to ask it again for a prompt. I don't know this is going to
actually, so as an example, like go ahead and move it over to the canvas. I'll show you, and then grab one of the weeks.
Okay.
Copy that and open up a new canvas. Drop that into that canvas, highlight it, and then in the text box, just say, please write my newsletter.
That's not going to work.
Never.
Wait a minute. Oh, right, because it knows me. It already knows my stuff. I haven't even created a project yet, which would be a stronger association.
Yeah. If you had, especially if you support it with data, right, and you have your project set up, then it's going to pull from that.
Okay. Boom. Beyond automation, the AI becomes your creative co-pilot. This is cool. This is much further along than, yeah.
And then you should be able to take, like, whether it's your summary or like why it matters for you, like accelerated ideation,
So if you grabbed one of those and just hit expand, and then you can quickly move through those single click like prompts to say expand my style, apply your data, all of those things very quickly to get to like where you're happy with sort of a draft, and then you can start the manual editing.
I like it. There's a ton of time. All right. Let's see if we've got any comments from the community. What do you like? What do you hate? What are you going to use Nexus to write for your newsletter? Let us know in the comments. Rory is making herself heard. Oh no, that's your cat, right?
Yeah.
The internet goes down and then the birds attack. Awesome. Well, this has been fun. I hope you get your internet back soon. And if anybody else wants to shoot us a note or an idea, we're here to help walk you through some of the rougher edges of the beta experience. But I don't know, what did that take us? 15 minutes to talk through it. And if we were really trying, maybe for another 15 minutes to polish. And then you've got a weekly newsletter. And it does actually work.
The way I demoed it the first time to someone was I literally just pulled up the voice to text for task, and I just said, like, write me a newsletter on the Carolina Panthers and cybersecurity. 2 completely different topics, right? So, and then it'll go out, do the research, come back and pull that together in somewhat a cohesive manner that would like combine those 2 topics together. But I think like that's where you get to, at least from the way I like to use it, like ideation very quickly. I want to, get information. I want to turn it into a more simple way to ingest it in the way that I'd like to ingest it. And then once I've got that, then I can start working from there.
Nice. I see we got a comment from Dale. Thank you so much. We could write a quick SOP here before we sign off.
Written SOP?
Yeah, I'd like to see it right in SOP. Let's do it.
Yeah, we can do an SOP.
The people have spoken. Let's see. Let's come up with an SOP that would be fun to create.
Let me think. Let's do.
All right, new page. I'm going to turn on our operational personality. Just putting on my ops hat here, which I love. That's actually my default. Let's see here.
So I start with just say, please outline the core components of a SOP.
Please outline the core components of an SOP. All right. Let's see. I gotta move this StreamYard thing to the other tab so I can see what's being written. All right. Cool. Core components of an SOP: title, purpose, scope, responsibilities, procedures, definitions, reference, revision approval history. Excellent. Boom. All right. Let's pick a topic.
So for this, I would pull your your signature line out of it, or just not highlight it. Sure. Not grab next steps, and then highlight the middle area. And then you can pick a topic. I don't know if Dale threw one in there, but knowing he's a cybersecurity guy, let's write a data protection SOP covering classification.
With those things. Boom.
Yep.
And since it's in the chat history, we actually didn't even need to highlight it. But if we had, like a lot of times I'll have a Canvas page that just has my outline of what I want, and then I can go and grab it anytime to start out.
I like to think of the Canvas as like optional memory. Like you can clear out the right side if you want zero context from what you've been discussing, and keep it on the left, and move back and forth between the two, so you kind of have more control of the AI.
Mm-hmm. All right, it is thinking hard. Oh, it's coming down. Ooh, we even got a mermaid diagram. What do we do with those? All right, so I'll put that in, data protection SOP.
And then the nice thing is I would actually turn reasoning off for this because we don't want it to overthink it.
And then each of these sections, with context of what you're writing, you can quickly go in to say, like, please write out my purpose. We can use the company as Naible, for example.
Ooh. Should I'll clear the whole thing, yeah. Actually, I need to give it the whole context, I think, right?
Yeah, you at least want it to know what you're writing. Could be a funny, interesting purpose.
Excellent. So I can highlight this and replace it with this and clean up a little bit.
Yep. And then, like, if you're like, okay, well, I don't want bullet points, I believe you can just grab that whole section and do readability. You can prompt it to move into paragraph form, pretty much like kind of molding the text however you want to.
Ooh, right. Yeah. So I can make this more readable. Or we can go get the meme lord back out because everybody loves their SOPs infused with memes.
It's true.
But this is kind of how we would work through it. This is awesome. And then last thing, the classification workflow. Well, that's a graph. I'm going to just cheat here and grab it and put it over in our chart generator. It should just create the image for me. Make it a little smaller. Oops, too fast. There we go. You can keep going and build an SOP.
Yeah, you can, and the cool thing is, like, the way it's processing this specifically, you're starting to get to like diagramming. So you want to diagram your workflow, you want to diagram your data protection flow, or you want to diagram operations. Very quickly, you can move from like SOP concept to how do I actually see this enact or impact the real world.
Nice. Interesting. I don't know if those might have been hallucinated or that actually is using our stuff. But definitely when you put a project together, which we'll probably capture in an upcoming session, but when this is turned on, I actually have a compliance project that has a bunch of these SOPs in it. It gets even more powerful. But to see that, Dale and friends, we have to tune in next week. All right.
Nice.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you, Randy.
Thank you, John. Hope you get your internet back soon.
Yeah, next time, hopefully, we can do more sharing, and you're not the only one on this, like, having to show everything. But
yeah, it's all right. If it breaks, then I know who to call and fix it.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.